So let's talk about your brain that, 3 pound wiggly, walnut sitting in your skull, burning like 30% of your energy while contributing approximately zero help when you forget where you put your keys. Great job, evolution. But here's the twist: your brain is not failing, it's just lazy, like a cat, sitting on your laptop, even though it has a $200 bed next to it. The brain, prefers shortcuts, autopilot, routines, comfort zones, basically everything that makes you worse at staying sharp. And today we're going to fix that, not like with magic, not with supplements that cost more than your rent, but with 5 brutally simple, scientifically solid tools from the book Staying Sharp that basically say, yo, if you want a younger brain, stop living like yesterday's is on repeat. Alright, let's roll. First of all, there's a term from that neuroscience shit: focused attention. Aim or miss, no middle ground. So your attention is like a sniper rifle, and if you aim it at like 10 targets at once, you hit nothing. If you aim it at one target, you hit everything. And of course, humans love pretending they can multitask. We can't. The research literally screams multitasking makes you dumber, slower, and less accurate. So, of course, you can multitask, but the quality of the thing that you're doing gonna be lower if we will compare it with the moment when you're doing just one thing. And in other words, every time you switch tasks, your brain drops IQ like a bad stock market crash. And so here's the infographic. Another kind of like a solution: do one thing at a time. Yeah, that's the whole trick. Do not overthink it. Set like 30 minutes timer. Pick one task. Do only that task. And if your phone vibrates, assume it's the government trying to recruit you for a secret mission. Ignore it anyway. Why this works: your prefrontal cortex, the CEO of your brain, loves deep focus. It rewards you with clarity, better memory, and less stress. You basically tell your brain, bro, sit down, we doing this, and it listens. And of course it's not easy, but that's the good thing about that your prefrontal cortex, if you put more effort, focus, reward you, as we discussed, with a better thinking. And second thing, in terms of like staying sharp, it's about novelty. The brain's favorite pre-workout. Your brain loves new things, not because it's curious, but because new stuff equals survival. Back in ancient times, new meant new berry may be edible, new animal may be deadly, new person may be marriage material, or enemy. Today, so-called new means using your left hand instead of your right, taking a different street to the gym, or like a trying a food, or like a trying like some sort of like a new food that doesn't look like it survived a nuclear blast. Even tiny, novelty forces the brain to wake up and say, oh damn, we're doing something different today. Guess I have to pay attention now. Neuroscience calls this right hemisphere activation. I call it turning your brain from sleep mode to performance mode. And this is why people who keep learning new things age slower than your phone battery. Meanwhile, people who leave the same day 10,000 times end up mentally flatlined at 45. Your daily homework, do one thing differently, just one. In other words, you can, if you're stuck at the same routine, even that routine you can do differently by changing some details. New cafe, new music, new socks, new road, new conversation question, doesn't matter. Your brain grows from that micro shocks, not huge overhauls. Another term which is good to know in terms of like being sharp, cognitive flexibility. Learn to pivot or get mentally pancaked. Imagine your brain is a car, and now imagine that car is stuck in one gear. And that's, what like happens when you stop adapting. Cognitive flexibility is the ability to switch strategies fast without losing your mind or your patience. Flexible, people adapt like Google Maps, recalculating routes. Rigid people act like their GPS is yelling, make a U-turn, even if, there is a wall. But in real life, flexibility looks like this. Plans change, you adjust, new problem, you try new angle, client panics, you stay chill, something fails, you don't collapse dramatically like a telenovela character. Your brain becomes flexible by practicing flexibility, not by, reading about it, not by thinking about it, but by actually doing it. Want a fun drill? Every time you get, for example, annoyed, stressed, or frustrated, pause for 3 seconds and say, "Okay, brain, new plan," and that's it. You're training the exact neural circuits that prevent mental aging. Your future self will thank you or send you a fruit basket. In other words, it's like it seems challenging because like while you're doing new shit, but that's the point that this challenge keeps you fresh. Another term it's called emotional regulation, so-called put the brakes before the breakdown. And here's the something you already know. Your like a first emotional reaction is like almost always wrong, and that is normal. It's like the limbic system, your cave person brain, screaming like a toddler in a grocery store. The prefrontal cortex is the parent. It stops you from saying stupid things, sending stupid messages, or like making stupid decisions. This is called emotional braking. And yes, it's trainable. And here's a hack for you: delay your reaction by 5 seconds, not 5 minutes, just 5 seconds. Because those 5 seconds let the rational brain slide into the driver's seat before the emotional brain crashes the car. So in other words, because emotional and logical brain process like information at the same time, but because also emotional brain reacting faster, but not in a good, smart way, you have to little bit give more time for your rational brain and do that kind of pauses. Try, for example, these kind of things next time. Someone texts you nonsense, like, for example, clients panic, someone is rude, you feel annoyed. Wait 5 seconds. and your brain rewires, your decisions improve, your anxiety drops, and everyone thinks you're the calm genius of the room. And the final term, which is good to know, called social connection signaling. Your brain runs on people, like it or not. Humans, wired for connection, even like introverts. Even that one coworker who looks like they were raised by USB cables, the brain literally grows when it feels understood. This is not poetry, if it's a fMRI science. And empathy reduces cognitive stress. Connection increases neuroplasticity. Belonging boosts attention and memory. So, translation: when you make people feel safe and seen, you become smarter, calmer, and more influential. The fastest hack: label emotions. Just say what the other person might be feeling calmly, like a neutral narrator. Things like, you sound stressed, this looks like overwhelming, or like it seems like the deadline is freaking you out, and boom, instant trust. The amygdala, that fear center, chills out. The prefrontal cortex takes over. Negotiation becomes 10x easier, and people suddenly think you have some mystical insight into that human nature. Spoiler: you don't. You're just using neuroscience correctly. And I hope it was everything interesting for you. See you next time.